So tonight's show is all about courage. It's a common theme within YFE Chat Live. We often talk about it saying you need to be courageous and getting up and starting up. You need to be courageous, and when you go into a board meeting, be completely self-confident, that type of a thing. And so we're going to be talking about confidence, getting up the courage to go ahead and do something, and also just figuring out what it is that you're doing with your life. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of things, but we have Vasavi Kumar on, and with Vasavi, I mean, it's all fair game. So lots of awesome questions. Stick through the entire 30 minutes using the hashtag YFEChat. It's going to be a really fun show tonight. So everyone, we've got Vasavi Kumar on tonight. We're all very excited to speak with her. She's a transformational life coach. And so a fun story before we get into the show. Vasavi has been emailing me or Facebooking me. She became friends with me on Facebook, and I'm usually pretty cool with friending anyone on Facebook, especially if we have connections. I'm pretty open with it. But then she messaged me and said she'd be interested in being on the show, and I get a lot of requests to be on the show. And I was interested in her story and what it is that she does, and kind of put it in the back burner. But as a lot of you know, your inboxes get full and it becomes harder for you to reply to people. So she kept checking back in with me, just reminding me of what it is that she's doing. She was fantastic. And so I've got her on tonight. I'm thrilled because she just had an interview with David Simon Garland. So a lot of you know her from over on his site. And then also she has Kansas City Live she does in the mornings. And she's out pretty much in every different media space that young female entrepreneurs are out on right now. Young, fabulous, and self-employed. So a lot of different pieces. And so she kind of specializes in a number of different things. But she's going to be on and talking to us about that very shortly. And her website, by the way, she gets a lot of comments, I've noticed, on this website, but it's beautiful. It's deep purple, and it's so, once you see her on live, you're going to understand it fits her personality perfect. And I'm sure she'll talk about her web designer soon too with that. So anyway, before we get started, our sponsors tonight are Ovalite TV. Ovalite TV hosts and produces live video events built to meet your objective. Visit ovalite.tv to request a free 30-minute consultation today to find out more about going live with your brand. And by MailChimp. MailChimp supports more than 2.5 million email subscribers worldwide, sending 4 billion messages per month. MailChimp is designed for the do-it-yourself power user, someone looking for all of the power of an enterprise application, but built for anyone to use. So hopefully you guys got to check out last week's episode with MailChimp. They were awesome. They gave us a lot of great tips as far as making sure that we're really utilizing email marketing to its fullest. Today, you should all be proud of me. I sent out a reminder to a segment of our list. I was pretty excited about that because I've never done like this small segment of who opens a specific email. So anyway, something really cool. If you haven't checked it out, make sure that you check it out. New at YFE headquarters, if you go to youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com, we talked about this last week, you can sign up for YFE Con recordings, which is really cool. So you get about 6 hours of video when you sign up for our email newsletter. And then the YFE events are coming up. Phoenix is May 11th, and Los Angeles is May 7th, and then New York City is May 14th. And each one has a different city coordinator that are doing phenomenal things in bringing women together in their local area. And so that's the YFE Con Women that we're showing right now on the screen, and then that's the form that you sign up for. Our producer's a little far behind. Laughing at me. So we've got Young Female Entrepreneurs Phoenix, Once de Mayo. Am I saying that right, Stacey? Stacey Harris, at the Stacey Harris, who's actually on our YF Entrepreneur Twitter handle right now. She's coordinating that one. Our next one that we are going to show to you, Los Angeles, May 7th. There we go. And oh gosh, the fabulous Julie Kelly, who you've all seen on YFE Chat Live before. And also Itty Bitty Party Committee, which is on, they have an interview on YFE Con too. Oh gosh, I love them. They're fantastic. In the New York City, of course, is Marissa Vicario, who's she's on the Chelsea Cross show tonight, or she was on, it aired earlier, and I believe that she has the recording up on her Facebook page. or at least a link to it. So everyone check that out and make sure that you attend our event if you're in the New York City area. And so finally, our theme this week is really self-care. And that's why I was really excited to have Vasavi on, because we're going to be talking about just making things just good holistically for us, so that we can go into a business meeting feeling confident, or that even when you step back even further, that you're confident in the path that you've chosen for yourself. For entrepreneurship, you really do pick you. Shanley Knox of Nakati Project, she mentioned that in a few blog posts, the idea that you pick yourself when you become an entrepreneur. And I really like that idea, and that so we're going to flesh that idea out a little bit with Vasavi in just a second. I do want to just let you know that because it's self-care, if you go to youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com on our blog, or even yfe.me/lunchtime routine, and you can comment and let us know what it is that you do for your lunches, if it's meeting people, networking, etc., if you have like a specific healthy shake you drink or something like that that inspires us to be whole and healthy during lunches, go to yfe.me/lunchtime routine. And when you comment, you enter to win a philosophy kit. Philosophy is Sophie. Sophie is a young female entrepreneur out of Los Angeles that I got to meet very briefly when I was down there for their meetup last year. And her mixes, we have them daily at Overlay headquarters. So I'm really excited about that. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Vasavi. Gosh, Vasavi, you knew I was going to do that, didn't you? Horrible. You're not on live right now. She's probably laughing at me. All right, so let's go ahead and bring her on live now, since she's talking in my ear. Vasavi, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. So excited to have you on. Thank you so much. So since I didn't do a real form or bio for you, why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do within your coaching practice?
Awesome. So first of all, Jennifer, thank you so much for having me here. It's so great to be live. I mean, this is the first time I've actually done something like this, so it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much for having me on. So what I have different types of coaching programs, but my philosophy is really simple. If you want to experience true freedom in your life, you have to take action. I was just saying this to somebody the other day, like, no wonder that the self-help industry is an $11 billion industry. I mean, that's a lot of money here. And I'm like, well, why is it that it's such a huge industry? Well, it makes sense, right? We keep going out and wanting to get more help and more services and more, but it doesn't make a difference if you're not taking action. So people come to me because they want me to kick the fear out of them and get really clear. First of all, you got to get really clear. You got to get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, your vision, your purpose. What do you want to believe about the things that you're doing? You know, what do you choose to believe? And what's the strategy? It's no point to go aimlessly, especially when you're an entrepreneur, and just, like a normal human being in life. I mean, I feel like we should all have a plan where we're going, and sometimes that plan changes, but people come to me because they want to get clear and they want to get moving. Because one of my favorite quotes in my favorite movie, Shawshank Redemption, you get busy living or you get busy dying. And I think, we're alive, so let's start living. That's my
Fantastic. That definitely brings things into perspective when you say, get busy living, or you're basically getting busy dying. So now, as far as you were saying, you help people take action, and that's something that I think that if people know you or they've seen you on interview shows like this, or like I mentioned David Siteman Garland's, that you're someone that does take action. You're very passionate, and you're very, and I mean this in the nicest way, you're obsessed. Like that's, and you can tell me if you are or not, it's your own opinion, but when I look at you, I look at someone, an obsessed person. I think very highly of people that are obsessed, people that are like pro skateboarders, or people that that's all they think about all day long is their mission in life, their goals. So do you see yourself as being an obsessed person? And if so, what is it that what are you obsessed about accomplishing?
I am so obsessed. I mean, I stay up at night, or I go to sleep thinking about, and I wake up in the morning, how can I help people take more action in their life? Because I hear so many people tell me, well, I really want to do this, but, and it's just like, how do I get people to see that anything that you want? I mean, you can even hear me. You can even see me. I have like death claws, that's how obsessed I am. Like, how can I get people to see that you really can have anything that you want in life when you're clear and you take action? You have to take that first step. So I am super obsessed. It's a great obsession for me because I get to be of contribution, and that's what I absolutely love doing. And my mission, and I'm sure it'll change, not my mission, but how my mission manifests throughout my life. My mission really is for people to see that they are limitless and that anything is possible. Anything is possible, and you can have not everything, but you can have anything that you want, right? Because maybe we're not meant to have certain things, but whatever you set your mind to, if you want it, you gotta work and get it. You're not gonna get what you want by meditating underneath a tree. You know, I mean, it's great to ground yourself, and I meditate and I pray and I do yoga and I have green juice and all that great stuff. But that is not gonna get you what you want. If you want to get from point A to point B, you have to move. You actually have to move, and however that looks like, you know, in your life and in your business. So clearly, I'm obsessed.
No, I think that's awesome. And so going back, I mean, the action part, are you laughing at me because I think it's awesome or what?
No, I'm totally, I'm just.
Sorry, my producer's laughing at me.
Oh, okay.
Obsessed and enthusiastic.
Yes, very enthusiastic. I know the David Siteman Garland interview, I was just like, I like her because you are.
I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate. It's my life purpose. I mean, I'm very clear why I'm put here on this earth, and I'm obsessed. I mean, yeah.
I think that's hard for a lot of us. I know for me, I started in business when I was right after college. I was 22 years old and joined a family business and was partners with my parents. And my vision, and I felt like I was really clear at 22 years old. I felt like I was like, this is my life's purpose, to do this specific thing. And just within the last year, it did pivot a bit. And I really liked, we recently had on a popular YouTube vlogger, Chris Perillo, and he said, you know, we have permission, or basically summarizing what he said, you have permission to change what it is that what your goal in life or what your mission is or what it is, who you are as a person, basically. So, I mean, on that path, when you're saying figure out what it is that you want to do and take action, when let's say that halfway through you're like, okay, I definitely, so like, you know, whether it's marriage or if it's business and you're taking action, and let's say you have some kind of thought where you're like, okay, I need to actually change. This isn't what this is wrong. What should someone do if they're at that point in their life? Should they just completely cut ties and start doing something else, or what's the action plan when that happens?
Oh, that's a great question. So I think, first of all, before you go ahead and just kind of, you know, cut ties, end a marriage, do that, you got to think deeply. I don't think we give enough credit to our mind, and you got to really think deeply about it and make sure, you know, just know where you're choosing from. A lot of times we quit halfway through because we're not seeing the result. If that was the case, I would have quit what I did 2 years ago, you know, doing this, because I wasn't seeing the monetary rewards yet. But, you know, you got to check with yourself and say, where am I choosing from right now? Am I choosing from a place of impatience that I want the result right now and I'm not seeing it yet? Or am I choosing from a place of, wow, this really is not feeling good anymore, and I've done all that I can, and I've gotten all the support that I've needed, and I've taken all the action, and I'm just not feeling it anymore. It's a big difference. It's the way I feel about, honestly, I mean, I love one-on-one coaching, but while I love working with people one-on-one, and I still do, I have a few one-on-one clients, and I love them very much. What I really want to do is create great programs, and I know we might get to that later, but for that person who's kind of like, should I do this or not? Just check with yourself first before you do anything. Just know where you're choosing from, because that can really make or break, the action that you take or don't take.
I think that's great advice, and it's really hard to actually get to know yourself when you're in your 20s or even your early 30s. I still feel like you're at a very formative kind of time, and so you're someone that has definitely done the work. You figured out who it is that you are, and you really know in a very intuitive level where your decision making is coming from. You were diagnosed about a little over 10 years ago with bipolar disorder, and you said through a mixture of Eastern and Western medicine, your spiritual practice, and a strong support network, you're able to live a life off meds. So what's your advice for others that are in a similar position, whether it's bipolar disorder or if it's some other kind of medical diagnosis that limits the quality of your life? So what would your advice be for those people?
So that's a great question. And first of all, you know, whether or not you have a diagnosis, let's just break it down for a second, Jen, that the diagnosis is just a label, right? And we all walk around with labels that we have about ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'm unworthy, I'm not attractive, I'm going to be a failure. So my label, and was it actually a diagnosis, right? It was a lifelong mental illness. The doctor told me that I would have to be on medication for the rest of my life. In the Indian community, we're a very conservative community, and a girl, especially a young girl who's diagnosed with a lifelong mental illness, she's doomed. Like, I should have never been married. I should have never been, where I am today, because I should have been doomed because of this diagnosis that I was given. So, for those of you, if you do have a diagnosis, I do live my life medication free. I chose to do that. I chose to do that with the consent of my psychiatrist. I was seeing a therapist at the time, my husband, my parents, my friends. So I didn't just make a rash decision like, oh, I don't want to be on medication anymore. I knew that if I was going to do that, I would have to make a huge lifestyle change, and I was already doing it, but I would have to just do, it was more of the small subtle shifts, not actually like a huge go from 0 to 10. I was already doing it, but I had to take it to another level. And so if you don't have a diagnosis, right, just think about I work with people who have, it makes me so sad to know that people walk around with these limiting beliefs about themselves. Like, I can't be this, or I shouldn't say this, and if I'm this way, this person won't like me. And we're so wrapped up in how we think we ought to be based on the rules that society has set forth. So, like I said, my whole thing is about freedom. And I got this from it's in my bathroom, but it basically says, be yourself. No one can ever tell that you're doing it wrong. So, my whole thing is, and I really don't like the phrase fake it to make it. I'm all about being it to believe it. So when I first got off medication, I knew that I had it in me to be, less unstable. I've been like, I had high highs, very depressed at sometimes, very manic and but not focused energy. And I envisioned myself being this person who still had those ups and downs. That's a part of life. We all have it. But I imagined myself being very happy and very peaceful and fulfilled with who I was. And that's who I've become, So you have to want it bad enough, and you have to believe that you do have what it takes. Who you are 5 years ago, you don't have to be who you were 5 years ago if you don't want to be. You can have an extraordinary life the day you decide, and it takes work and it's practice.
It's a lot of work, because I know you say take action and you can be whatever you want to be, which is definitely something that I hold, like, that's a complete belief. I grew up with that kind of mantra, and that's the way that my parents raised me and the kind of books that we read. But at the same time, it's a lot of work. You have to constantly check back in with yourself, and you're someone that is now really working towards living a life that you want, that it's your dream. This is, if I had my pick, this is how I'm going to live, and that's the actions that you're taking to get you there. So as far as working towards that life that you want to lead, and the work it takes in order to believe that you can have it, what kind of resources did you look at? Did you read books? Did you take programs? Was it a lot of yoga? What got you to that point where you actually believed you could have what you wanted?
I had to. I'm a very daring person. I have no problem taking risks. And like I said, during my back in the day in my 20s, when I experimented with things that really weren't very good for me, I just always took risks, even if they were unhealthy risks. Now I take obviously risks that actually move me forward, move my life and business, but definitely books. I believe always be learning. I've seen coaches that are like, well, oh, I already figured that out. Dude, you need to be a lifelong learner. You need to always know that there's something that you don't know, so I know, Jen, that I know what I know, but I also know there is so much of what I don't know, and there is so much that I don't even know that I don't even know. So always be learning. I'm always, listening to an audiobook. I have a bunch on my iPhone that I listen to when I'm walking my dog. Always reading. I've invested a ton in working with people that I really admire. So my mentor is Lisa Nichols, who was in the movie The Secret. And when I first really wanted to understand more of the business side of being a coach, I joined her year-long global leadership program, which was $25,000. And this was in the first year of my business, okay? And by the way, I just paid off all my credit card debt, about $35,000 worth, and it feels so good. So let's just have a mini celebration, because I'm ecstatic about that.
That's crazy.
But it did pay off. So seminars, personal growth seminars. My husband and I just came back from Chicago for a 4-day seminar called Life Book, where we literally, like, I wish I had it right here, but we planned out the 12 areas of our life. And I got to really unplug and just spend 4 days on me, and he got to spend 4 days on him. I'm always looking at, how can I get better in the area of my health and fitness, in my spirituality, in my relationships, in my career, in my finances, so just really taking a look at every area of my life and saying, like, I don't like the way that's working. What do I need to do to move the needle slightly? I'm not saying, you got to be at a 10, 0 to 10, but what can I do to just make it even a little bit better, and then a little bit better? Because my tendency, which maybe some of your viewers are like this, like, I am like all about, like, yeah, I got to go from 0 to 10. I mean, I used to be that way. And now I'm like, well, what is just a small, like a tiny little shift, and it makes a world of a difference, so definitely invest in yourself. I know people that just want stuff for free, and I'm like, no, I mean, that's great, but you gotta invest in yourself, because money is it's just a transaction, right? Like, when you put money down for something that's gonna help you learn and grow, I mean, you take it seriously. You realize that you have this body and mind, and you have to invest in yourself. You're a plant, and you have to continue to water, and you have to feed. And so, I signed up for a $25,000 coaching program when I didn't have $25,000, and did it suck that I had debt? Absolutely, but I learned so much. I've implemented it, I've hustled, I've taken the action, and I just paid off. It was literally 2 days ago, I just paid it off. And I called American Express, and I was like, peace out. And they kept trying to get me back. I'm like, no, I don't think you understand. I'm done with this card. Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations on the debt-free piece of that, because that's huge. I mean, that was a big risk to take, and I think a lot of us feel a little weird spending money on ourselves. Like you said, it's a commitment. It's something that you're paying money. Like you said, it's a transaction. It's a commitment. You're saying basically that this is important to me. So as far as as far as what it is that you're offering to young women or people in general that are trying to have a little bit of what you're experiencing, that idea that we can have anything we want. And like I said, this is something that I believe that it's true. Everything you say, I just want to be like, yes, like raise my hands and like do a little. Yeah, exactly. I think it's all awesome. But at the same time, there are days where I'm just like, this all sucks. Everything sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. This is horrible. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And then, like, you can ask my mom, 2 o'clock some days are crying times.
Oh my God. I just cried this morning. Listen, like, am I always like this? No, but that's why you gotta get clear on your purpose, because even when you have those crappy days when you want to cry, I cried this morning, and my husband was like, babe, are you hormonal? Like, most men, they just think you're like, you're hormonal. I'm like, oh, I'm just, like, I'm just feeling my emotion. It's totally fine to have those days, and then you just, as long as you anchor yourself, you'll get right back up. But there have been plenty of days that I want to quit, but I'm clear on my why, and I'm clear on the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So nothing really shakes me, and I'm sure it's the same thing with you, Jen.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's just, it can be overwhelming when you're just like, this is my purpose, this is what it is. And then some days you're just like, am I really the one that's supposed to be doing this? And it can be hard. And so I think it is just constantly working on yourself. So is there any programs that you have for the young female entrepreneurs that are watching today that could give them like little snippets, maybe even of just like little things we can do daily to work on that, making sure that we're still focused on our why and focused on taking action towards achieving our goals?
Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, I actually have. I just came out with it like 2 weeks ago. It's called Conquer, a 21-day guide to freedom. I love it because my whole thing, we're all infopreneurs, right? Like, I'm basically sharing information. So I don't believe that if you sell something at a mass level that the quality has to suffer, because it's information, it's my wisdom, it's my knowledge. So the program is called Conquer, a 21-day guide to freedom. It's $30. I did that on purpose because I really wanted a lot of people to access it. I know how busy everybody is. So it's just, you get 11 assignments over the course of 21 days, like literally, one paragraph and then a mini assignment. So the first assignment is trusting yourself, and just having you think about the ways that you doubt yourself, and and just looking at what do you need to do to start moving past that self-doubt. So that's $30. You can get it right off my website at vasavikumar.com.
I really like those daily assignments too. I recently did May Cause Miracles. I should say I did like the first 22 days pretty like on top of it, but then after 22 days I stopped doing it. I should probably do something again. But is this the one thing about that book that was a little different for me was it got a little woo woo, like it got a little too much into like the I forget what she calls it. It's the thing that she's behind, the spirit junkie, or what's it? No, Ing.
Yes, the inner
guide,
yeah.
which I thought was just I don't know, it was a fantastic book, and I'm not saying I'm sure a lot of you that are watching like it. So in what you do, I know you're a spiritual person, you practice Hindu, and what does that look like? Do you bring that into your work?
So I am probably like the most rebellious Hindu there. So, I was raised a Hindu, and my parents are from India. They're immigrants, and I was born and raised in New York, and I now live in Kansas. By the way, it's actually snowing outside. I wish I could show you,
what?
But it's snowing. Yeah, it's snowing. Like, I really want to show you, but it's snowing outside. Like, it's crazy. So, I was raised to believe that we have to, train to believe that, you got to go to the Hindu temple for, 6 a.m. and you got to pray for 3 hours a day. And for me, it's just like, be a good person, be a contribution, do your best, kind of like Don Miguel Ruiz's The Four Agreements. Am I a very structured Hindu? No. I mean, my husband every morning, he prays for about 20 minutes, like literally religiously. I, on the other hand, I don't do that kind of formalized Hindu prayer. I pray, I definitely give my gratitude. We go to the temple once a month, but for me, it really is, I see God. I mean, God is everything. If I have to look at, where is God? God is not at some temple. He's not on some holy mountain. God is everything. It's not even that God is in everything. God is everything. And I have a very different approach. I mean, you will not find me meditating underneath a tree, or, I can be woo-woo, but I'm just really
You're very rooted.
Thank you. And for me, talk is cheap. Right? Because we can talk and talk and talk about your problems, but let's get to work. We talk about what we got to talk. A lot of my coaching clients, my calls are really only 30 minutes with some clients, because it's like, if we talk for 60 minutes, we're going to get into like, oh my God, and this and that. Like, let's get to the bottom of the issue and let's get moving. Talking is great, but you know what? You know what's even better than talking is actually doing what you got to do, So...
Yeah, but that's harder.
My mom always said to me, great talkers are never great doers. So, I don't usually tell people like, I'm going to go do this. I just do it and I launch it. And you're like, wow, cool. I didn't know she was working on it, because I don't talk about it. I mind my damn business and I do what I got to do and I launch it and I hope somebody buys it. That's it. So I've been very blessed, because people resonate with me and my style, because I believe spirituality is very different for me than it is for you, and it doesn't need to look a certain way, and ultimately it's your relationship with yourself, and I can't define that for you. You can.
I like that. Well, and before I let you go, Vasavi, I wanted to thank the Wardrobe Code, because she's giving you all sorts of awesome quotes out on Twitter, and I'm liking everything she's saying. And she also is drinking champagne tonight. That's a picture of her on Instagram. We need to have her on the show too. Vasavi, if you haven't connected with her, you'll have to. She's fantastic. She does wardrobing a program for that. So so one more time, tell us where we can all connect with you online. Where you socialize the most? Because my favorite thing that I don't know why it is, I don't know why, like, to be totally honest, why I clicked like on you. I don't always do that for anyone that I haven't been introduced to, but for whatever reason I'm so glad I did, because I love all of your Facebook updates. I think they're always so empowering, and so just, I don't know, you're just such a positive and actionable person that it makes me motivated too. So where are you most sociable? Where can we find you online?
I'm most sociable on Facebook, and that's Vasavi Kumar Coaching. And yeah, Twitter, I'm like, okay, yeah, now and then. I just can't. I have bipolar disorder, so I have a lot of thoughts as it is. So Twitter just makes me go nuts. So I can't even. I'm like, dude, that is just way too much for me, So I like Facebook. It's much better. And I know we were talking about, today's about being confident. So can I just leave your viewers with one thing?
Yes, please.
So when we really define what self-confidence is, okay, I think of it as it's what's in between being unstoppable and being scared. I don't know if you guys curse on here. You don't curse on here.
You may.
No. Oh, yes. Yes?
Sure. Why not?
No, I won't. Okay. So, what self-confidence is the difference between being unstoppable and being scared out of your wits. That's all it is. And that's, I mean, you got to believe in yourself, and you have to know that, you know, you have what it takes. And even if it just kind of feels like it's just a little whisper at that point, like, I know I got what it takes, you got to go running with that. And whatever it is you want to do, like, you just have to, you just be it to believe it. Envision yourself, envision the 2020 version of yourself, like, you know, fabulous and talking and connecting with great people, and bring that into your right now. Don't wait till you get there. Bring that vision, hold that vision for you, but bring it into your right here, right now. I promise you, you really can. And I'm not trying to sound like some woo-woo junkie, but it really is. You really can have anything that you want. But
I'm getting excited. I can't have anything I want.
So I call it the H factor. I'm actually coming out with the program this in 2014, but I call it the trifecta for success. It's heart. So your heart is really your passion. It's your why. It's just always being anchored to that, the soul of who you are. It's your humility. The humility is that silent knowing, that silent confidence. Like, you don't need to go brag about it and be like, look at how awesome I am. Like, your mere being is awesome. And, you know, I'm all about promoting myself. That's great. But I don't do that. I don't need to do that to overcompensate. I know what I have. I know what my gifts are. So it's that knowingness, and also like owning it. You know, it's that silent confidence and being willing to share that with the world. And the last, and my favorite, is hustle, right? If you look up in urbandictionary.com, hustling is doing something illegal for survival. So I'm not talking about that. What I am saying, though, is hustle is about doing whatever you got to do for the survival of your soul, right? So you call me obsessed, and it's so true, because if I wasn't doing what I was doing, my soul would die. And I don't mean to get all like, and now I'm getting kind of woo-woo, and I might even cry, because it's so true that if I wasn't doing what I was doing, a part of me would die. So I know all the YFE, you know, the young female entrepreneurs, they're all feeling the same exact way. And so just think about what you're doing out there, your purpose, your passion. It's a matter of life or death. And I'm talking about the death of your soul, you know, so keep doing what you're doing, guys.
She's going to be someone big, and she was on Young Female Entrepreneurs. I'm really excited about this Sunday. Like Super Soul Sunday or something. You have such an awesome presence, and I really do. I love your mission. I love your backstory, and I hope all of you guys that are watching check out vasavikumar.com and get connected with her online. Follow her on Facebook. I really love her updates. So Vasavi, thank you so much for being on live. I really appreciate it. We're going to get into our after party now, and we'll probably talk about you. So very grateful.
With my water.
All right. Thank you, and have a good night. So we were talking to Vasavi Kumar, and she was fantastic, right? Very empowering, very motivating, a lot of energy. It's definitely juxtaposed next to me, who I'm a little bit quieter, a little bit more reserved, but she was awesome. So we're going to bring on Corey Freeman and at the Stacey Harris now for the after party, and they're going to talk about what we discussed. But the biggest thing here is that they want you to call in. So call in at 855-451-4YFE, 855-451-4YFE. I was going to do a whole like little jingle, and then I totally messed up. But anyway, so stick around. Call in. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to go ahead and bring on Stacey, but this was Jennifer Dono with youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com. Make sure that you show up next Thursday. We're talking about crowdfunding, financing, all sorts of fun stuff. It's going to be a money show. And hopefully you guys, if you're in the New York City, Los Angeles area, or Phoenix, that you can meet up in May in real life. So until next week, thank you so much for coming to the chat, and hopefully you'll stay around for the after party with Stacey and Corey.